Okay, once again I'm going to try to use my new Kodak ZI-8, which is supposed to be for these YouTube videos, however, certainly not for how-to videos. Mostly because it has a fixed focus lens. And with a fixed focus lens, I can't get close enough to be in focus. So therefore, because it very wisely also has a macro lens, yes, I can do it with a macro lens, and yes, I'm probably in focus right now. However, I'm so close to the machine, I mean the video camera is, that all of this material I have here may get in the way. Or rather, the camera will get in the way of the material. I'm in the process of attaching the robe skirt lining to the robe skirt mesh. The lining is the chiffon. And if you see 2 rows of stitching coming out, the first row of stitching is just the basting of the 2 layers of mesh together, because 1 layer of mesh was nearly invisible. Is anyone getting tired of watching me stitch yet? Close-up of stitching. I can only say that if someone had made this available to me when I started sewing, I would have been very happy to watch stitching for a while, because it would have given me more confidence about what I was doing. And that's what I'm going by. I'm going by the idea that I would have liked it, ergo there must be somebody else out there crazy enough to want to like it. Now, did I just... I think I just didn't do that just right. See how the mesh here is not lined up with the edge? See how the stitching is now in the selvage? We can't have that. So I will be unpicking, and I'll turn it off while I do. And we're back. The other thing I'm doing differently this time, I should say, from the other videos I tried to film with the new camera, is that I'm wearing the microphone rather than having it somewhere on the table 2 feet away from me, because it was very low. And when I tried to improve the audio gain, which is possible on this camera, it wouldn't let me go any higher than I have it. It was at 100%, it said. Unless I'm doing something wrong. Since everything about the camera is so simplistic, so are their instructions. They don't really go into any detail. I like it, but I'm still not sure whether it's going to serve me for the purpose that I wanted it. At least you get to hear my voice. That doesn't mean I won't put a title or 2 when I see what I've done and I'm editing. However, possibly no more clair de lune. We will see. Okay, I've almost come to the top of the skirt on this side. But while I was unpicking that bit of seam, and thank goodness that hasn't happened to me much, so it would have severely put me back, time-wise, I may do a second row right next to that one. I think I'd like the idea of having a second row. Lock stitch, cut, done. Okay, off. Oops. I'm so excited. I'm finally at the point where I can attach the robe bodice to the robe skirt, which will mean when I'm finished with this seam, I will be able to have a real good view of what the whole thing actually looks like. So excited. Stitch off the edge a little bit. Oh no. What have we got here? Probably a bird's nest. As long as it didn't break the thread, it's not a problem, because this seam is going to be encased in seam binding anyway. I didn't want to put it between the layers the way you normally put the seam allowance between the layers of fabric, like when you put a coat on, the lining, you don't see any seam allowances, they're all on the inside. That's what I mean by between the layers. In this case, however, it being so sheer, you would see the seam allowance. But since the chiffon is a little bit less sheer than the mesh, if I put it on the inside of the robe, you won't be able to see it practically at all. I have done all of the gathering without you. I had to recharge batteries and have been pretty stressed out because this is due very soon and I feel I'm so far behind. So I haven't had much time to videotape. Here we go. This is the gathered part. The gathered part of the back of the skirt. The sides aren't gathered, but the center part of the back is gathered. And it looks like I just cut some fabric in the back. Okay, this is what we don't want to see. This is why slow is always better than fast. I will pick this out and come back in a minute. Okay, we are back. Alright, that seam is turned that way. Especially where these ruffles are. The fabric wants to bunch underneath my stitching line. Have to always make sure to stretch the fabric underneath back, or I will catch it again. close to the end of the gathered section. Those are the darts. Coming up to where the front edge of the skirt meets the front edge of the bodice. And I'm going to sew just off the edge and back in, and a lock stitch, and cut. And there it is. You will get to see more of this when it's not behind the sewing machine.